Welcome to Dear Rebels, a weekly dispatch from Fashion Rebel Nation headquarters. Queer fashion, activism, and community. We are creating the place we belong. You, me, us. This is our table, and we saved you a seat. Okay, Rebels, this week we're getting fired up with this Irish proverb. It is in the shelter of each other that people live. We get so fixated on all the things we can't change and all the shitty injustices in the world that we forget our own agency and the power of leaning on each other. We may not be able to change the system overnight, but we can sure as hell create the space where people get to truly live. Before we get into the thick and the weeds, here's some important shit. The next issue is in the works and drops July 3rd. We've got 18 Patreon subscribers fueling the revolution, 34 email subscribers taking notes, and 1,030 humans on social media following along for the ride. Okay, I'm going to make a confession. I have been trying way too hard to make this podcast sound professional when actually the entire operation is pretty much being run by 3 kobolds in a trench coat. There is absolutely no statistical reason that I should exist in my current form. Like, literally none. My body has been trying to kill me since the day I was born, and I mean that literally. I was born with a birth defect that less than 1% of the nation has, and I was an even smaller percentage that had a particular type of that birth defect. I have rolling panic attacks and an existential fixation with death. I'm almost comically uncoordinated, and my name comes from an Irish legend about a beautiful girl who fucks everyone's life so hard that they all end up dead. I'm ADHD. I have survived an extremely emotionally abusive relationship and pretty much fell out of the shit tree and hit every branch on the way down. But somehow I got up and slapped my chest and said, "Come at me, bro." And I believe in the marrow of my bones that Fashion Rebel Nation can become something amazing. I just have to convince these other traumatized, exhausted motherfuckers that it's possible and worth it. So worth it. So let me tell you what Fashion Rebel Nation actually is. The bones of this thing, because it's important, damn it. Fashion Rebel Nation is not just a digital magazine. That is the evidence of our existence. That is, the little scrapbook that shows that we exist and we thrive. But more importantly, it is the evidence of the existence of the community. And what we are building here, make no mistake, is community. Because when I was little, I got the shit kicked out of me. A lot. And sometimes it was by things I tripped over because of the aforementioned clumsiness. But other times it was literally by other kids for being weird. And look, I am 5'9", but I am like the least threatening person that you could ever hope to meet. I mean, I would be standing there, and seriously, like, I don't know, 6th grade. By 6th grade, I was 5'5", and so I would be sitting there literally getting kicked in the shins by another child calling me a weirdo who was like 4.5 feet tall. I did not know how to stand up for myself, but I have never, ever, ever fit in. Not because of my ADHD, which was not diagnosed until several years ago, and not just because of my life circumstances or my health. It's all of it. It's the whole kit and caboodle. I have literally never fit in, and I didn't care to. Like, one of the absolute most poetic things that ever happened, and this is true. This is like, we rarely get moments like this. So please take a moment to appreciate how deeply important this is, because we rarely get picture perfect moments like this. And I think I was in 5th or 6th grade. And a couple of the popular girls at my school decided that I was a makeover. Yeah, literally like a movie. They were going to make me over. They were going to do my hair. They were going to lend me some clothes. And no, this wasn't for nefarious purposes. I guess they were just bored and they wanted to, like, I don't know, convert the weirdo. And so I enjoyed it at first, you know, like I liked having my hair done and borrowing clothes from people and doing this, right? But as part of this indoctrination that was going on, they were telling me the rules, the things that I could and couldn't do. And let me tell you, at the school that I went to, we had something called PBD and IBD, primary behavior disorders, I think intermediate behavior disorders, but these were the kids who struggled to be in a regular classroom because of oftentimes being violent or having outbursts that were disruptive to the classroom. Now, I can't tell you whether those were healthy classrooms to be in or not, or whether that was a good idea, but that's what it was. And I actually played with a lot of those kids at recess or sat with them at the lunch table because, I don't know, like I wasn't really afraid of them. They were just people. And quite honestly, most of them were nicer to me than any of my own classmates. And so back to this brief experiment in popularity. For like 2 glorious days, I got to hang out with these girls and have my makeup did and et cetera, et cetera. But we're sitting at the lunch table and I look down the way and I go to sit next to this girl who's from this class, and the girls who made me over, they're like, oh, no, you cannot, nope, nope. And I said, what? That's stupid. I eat lunch with her all the time. I like her. I want to go sit with her. And they just firmly looked me in both of my eyeballs and said, if you go sit over there, you're not cool anymore. Like, literally, that is what they said. If you go sit over there, you're not cool anymore. I need like the slow-mo there, right? And without missing a beat, I get my one cinematic moment, and I didn't even have to think it over. I just looked them right back in their eyeballs and said, if being cool means being like you, I'm over it. And that was it. That was my brief foray into hanging out with the popular girls, because fuck that noise. Like, fuck that noise. And please don't misunderstand. It's not that it was easy to get beat up or called weird or ostracized by other people. It wasn't. And I desperately wanted people to like me. I desperately wanted friends. I desperately wanted to fit in with people. But I cared more about my own principles. I cared more about being who I was. And part of that was dressing the way I wanted to dress and doing what I wanted to do and caring about the people who deserve to be cared about. Society's notions about things be damned. And I have been like that my entire life. And you can blame it on my neurospiciness, or you can simply chalk it up to my personality and my lived experiences. But that's just who I am. And I started creating this magazine because I have a BS in secondary education and a BA in English literature. I was a high school English teacher, and I was like, you know what? I want to create a publication that speaks to those same people, that speaks to the people who feel like they're not represented by the magazines at the grocery store, like they're not represented by the people in the rural areas that they live in, or by the families that they're in. People who feel like they're not being seen or heard. This publication exists to tell you you are seen, you are heard, and you are welcome at this table. Welcome at this table. You can sit with us. But I don't want to be the person making the entire publication, not just because I'm lazy or uninventive. I am neither. But because I don't want it to just be about me. I don't want just the way I write and my perspectives to be reflected into the world. Like, I live in rural Kansas. Now, not deeply rural Kansas, because please understand, Kansas has many, many, many towns that have like 100 people or less in them. So I'm, slightly less rural than that, but still in a place where we are primarily white. I am surrounded by people who have cultures similar to mine. So even though my personality and my values other me, my skin color is not one of the things that does. And I don't get to experience other people's cultures and lived experiences and lives. I can't speak to you from someone else's perspective. And so I want to open this up and say to everyone, come, my children, tell us your stories, share your art, share your photography, share the experience of being you and the joy and the frustration and the complexity of being a human being. Did you get beat up in the 3rd grade because you were weird, but you still prance around on your lawn wearing a unicorn suit every Tuesday afternoon? This is the place for you. If you prefer to wear clothing that is outside of your assigned gender, or you choose comfort over trend, you have a seat at this table. You belong here. We are creating a community. And I am deeply passionate about this. Now look, I started a Patreon, okay? And Patreon is a place where, if you don't know, people can give you money in exchange for believing in what you do or being entertained by what you do, or both. But we also have a free element in Patreon, which means you can come sign up and you can come be part of it for no money. And then later, when you have some money or you feel like we've earned that, then you can share that with us. But I genuinely want to build this community, not just online, okay? I have added the Rebel Clubhouse to the last issue we have, and this is something that we're going to keep doing going forward. And it is designed to be an activity, something fun to do, something that sparks an idea in you, in your real life communities, to find people and say, hey, do you want to do this Rebel Clubhouse activity with me? Do you want to hang out? And I want to keep that going. And it's not like I don't want to do franchises and franchising fees and doing all. No, literally, I want it to inspire you. I want you to say, oh, hey, you know what? I'm going to take this activity. I'm going to hang out with some other people. We are going to have fun and release some stress and eat some snacks. And we're going to make this shit real. We're going to make this shit real. This community is going to be the realest. God, I'm just thinking of that South Park episode that occurred a long time ago, where he says, I'm super serial, guys. Why don't you believe me? And that's me right now. I'm super serial, guys. I want to build communities in the real world where we are getting together. Also, with FRN, here is a huge part of what I'm doing. I want to be able to employ people. Like, actually, the first 2 people that are on my roster is someone to help with content editing and content creation for social media, because that is a huge time suck for me. And then the second one is someone to help with graphic design and layout for the magazine. And we have a university right here in Hays, Kansas. And that is probably where the most diversity in this community exists. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have those skills if you don't have a university degree, but I would love to be the space, one, where people have an opportunity to learn their skill, and second of all, learn skill, that's right. Anyway, I want to be a place that gives them an opportunity to practice. That's what I want, to practice their skills. Also, I'm 40, almost 45 years old, and this shouldn't just be about the middle-aged perspective. This should be all of us. Like in the FRN community, I see 65-year-olds and 45-year-olds and 25-year-olds. Intergenerational communication doesn't happen enough. And I want to be able to hire people and pay them an actual ethical living wage. But in order to do that, I have to have money. I have to have money to be able to do that. And here is another really big, huge thing that I want to do with FRN. Like, a lot of people aspire to profit. And this is where you get with, and it's not inherently evil, okay? It's not wrong to make money to want to support yourself and have a better life and do things. But so many times people end up selling out in the way that they go public and they have shares and shareholders and people making those kinds of investments, and it changes the ethics of the company. And I absolutely 100% intend to create a community grant fund through Fashion Rebel Nation with some of our profits. Once we get to the point where we are paying employees ethically and creating this publication ethically, I want to be able to donate 25% of the profits. And if that's $100, then it's $25, but that $25 will go into the community. And if it's $10,000, then that's even more money. But 25% will go into this grant, and it will go directly into real life communities. This community, and if it gets big enough, the surrounding communities. We're going to stretch this thing as far as we possibly can. You want to start up a queer bookstore in the middle of rural Tennessee? I would love for FRN to get to the place where the grant can help reach you. You want to build up the community right here in Hays, Kansas? Hell yeah, we're in for that too. And also, I have this massive vision of having something I'm calling RebelCon, which I based off of the idea of Comic-Con. And if you've never been, go Google it. Planet Comic-Con in Kansas is actually I think it's on the Missouri side because Kansas City is shared by Kansas and Missouri, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, go Google it if you haven't already. But I want a place, like an actual event where we celebrate and do arts and crafts and have panels and speakers and things to do. I want this community to have real impact on your very real lives. And this publication, the magazine portion of it, that is the documentation of what we are creating here. It's your art, it's your poetry, it's your photography, it's your selfies of your outfits. It's you existing in the world and showing proof that you exist and that you deserve to exist, and the things that we create deserve to exist in the world. That is Fashion Rebel Nation. And I know that it can exist. I know we can make a place where it doesn't matter. Like, it does not matter whether you're gay or straight or bi or pan or queer or black or white or mixed race or the rainbow, literally everywhere, that we create and carve out this space to celebrate those diverse experiences in the world, to make a place where we allow all of the people that aren't represented and that don't fit, to have a place that they're celebrated and that they belong. And this can be that. So how can you help? How can you help be part of this? Genuinely, go to Patreon. Go to patreon.com, or you can download the app. Yes, you create an account. That part is free. You can join Fashion Rebel Nation for free. And the vast majority of what we have there is not behind any sort of paywall. The magazine itself, the publication, when you pay, our lowest membership is $5 a month. When you pay for that, then you do get the magazine as part of that. But if you're not paying, you can still answer all of the prompts. You can talk. And then again, if you are paying, we have a private Discord. And part of the reason I put that behind a paywall is because trolls can kiss my ass. Okay. So once you're on Patreon, we start talking to each other. We start building this thing together, because I am not going to lie to you. When you put something out and nobody responds, it sucks. It fucking sucks to put your heart and soul into something and hear crickets. And I will tell you, I have bad days. I have days where I ugly cry and I kick my hot pink chair and I say, all of this is shit. It's all shit. I don't even know why I tried to do this. Why did I rent 2 offices? What's going on? But you know what? I am a meat suit jam-packed full of reckless, unfettered optimism. Like, it just comes out of me. It's like, I don't know, like I said in the very beginning of this, there is no statistical reason that I should exist. I have so many health problems. Like, I literally am about to go to a rheumatologist in a couple of weeks because I can't stop falling apart. But somehow I just get back up and I say, you know what? No, we're going to make this work. We are going to make this work. And you know what? I did the math. That's right. I did the math. And I'm an English major. So I'm going to tell you a big, scary number. And then I'm going to tell you how we make it not so scary. Okay? So in order to have 2 staff members, the people that I talked about, social media and graphic design and layout, and then to pay myself a reasonable amount of money. Actually, I will be paying myself like $12 an hour out of the gate, which is not reasonable, but it is reasonable while we're starting up the publication. So to pay us, to have an office space, to cover our overhead, to do all the things that we need to do to really start getting this publication and this community built is going to cost about $10,000 a month. And I know people are going to be like, oh my God, $10,000? That's insane. A month? That's over $100,000 a year. Oh my God. But do you remember the part where I told you that I am recklessly optimistic? I did some more math. Let's say that this entirely comes from patrons that pay $5 a month, okay? We only need 2,800 patrons to cover an entire year of this operation. Like, that's less than 3,000 humans. There are over 300 million people living in the United States. That's less than 1%. And all we need is momentum. We just need people to say, you know what? I believe in this. I believe in this. I believe in a future with a community grant. I believe in a future where this publication reaches the kid who's getting the shit kicked out of them for being weird. I believe in a future where all of this comes together. This is possible. You know what? Damn it. This is possible. $5, okay, from one person and then another person. And look, the publication itself sells for $8 on Gumroad. So if you don't want to be part of the Patreon, you don't want to be part of the paid Patreon, that's fine. The publication itself sells for $8. And we would need even less. You know, like, there's just so many ways to do this. But it is so possible. It is so possible. I know, I'm starting to sound like a broken record, and you're believing that business that I told you about, the cobalts and the trench coat. But this is so possible. So if what I'm saying to you makes sense, even a little bit, please go to patreon.com/fashionrebelnation and join us. Join us for free. And then make a financial decision later, whether this is something you want to invest in. Go buy the latest issue of the magazine on Gumroad. Hell, you can also sign up as an affiliate, and you can share this with other people and put a little bit of money in your pocket to boot. You can tell other people, oh my God, this insane person has this idea and I think it's fucking fantastic. Let's go do this. We ride at dawn. That's what it takes. Yeah? It takes the fire and handing that to someone else and burning the whole place down, but in a positive, queer, glitter-covered way, right? So, I've been going on for 26 minutes now. I told you that I have been trying to keep this podcast too professional. And you know what? I'm just going to show up. I'm going to show up and I'm going to tell you the truth and we're going to talk. And I am going to keep showing up until I find the people that we need to find. Because we're going to build this motherfucking thing. We're going to build it and we're going to do it, and we're going to have a community, and we're going to have a grant, and we're going to have all of it. We're going to have all of it because you deserve that space. I deserve that space. We deserve that space. So before you go, be sure to subscribe or follow and leave a comment or a review, because your voice, your passion, your fire is what helps build the revolution, one rebel at a time.